Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a story that is, frankly, absolutely captivating. Now, on the surface, Luna and the Chronicles of the Moonlight Kingdom reads like your classic, beautifully crafted fairy tale. But honestly, beneath all that magic, it is a surprisingly powerful mirror for our own everyday battles with perfectionism and imposter syndrome. It's basically rich psychological insight disguised as a fantasy adventure. The story immediately pulls us in, setting the emotional stage right out of the gate. Far beyond the world we know, hidden deep within an ancient forest, there exists a magical place that only appears under the light of the full moon. This ethereal imagery isn't just about painting a pretty fantasy world. It's really about highlighting hidden potential, setting us up for a narrative about facing our fears in the dark to actually find our courage. So, Section 1. Welcome to the Moonlight Kingdom. Let's dive right into this world. Now, Luna's journey unfolds over 4 distinct days. Day 1 introduces us to the Hidden Kingdom. By day 2, we hit the magic storms. Day 3 brings our main conflict to a head as the Shadow King arrives. And finally, day 4 wraps up with the victory. Grounding this fairy tale into a structured timeline of self-discovery just helps us see exactly how this whole narrative logically plays out. Right, so we meet a young fairy named Luna. And she possesses an incredible, rare gift, the power to turn dreams into reality. I mean, it's a wonderfully rare ability, and frankly, one that pretty much all of us wish we had, right? Just imagine being able to manifest your deepest aspirations instantly. No online shopping required. But, just having the gift isn't the whole story. The catch is that Luna completely lacks control over her magic. Because it's so untamed, her simple dreams turn into raging storms, and her most beautiful wishes just kind of fade away unfinished. And wow, think about how often we experience this in our own lives. Our great ideas are left unfinished because we get overwhelmed, or our attempts at being absolutely perfect just turn chaotic because we're trying way too hard to force a flawless outcome. Which brings us to Section 2, Enter the Shadow King. Just as Luna is struggling internally with her chaotic magic, this dark external threat emerges. The Shadow King is a dark force, a creature that literally feeds on broken dreams. What's absolutely fascinating here is how he acts as a perfect metaphor for our own fear of failure. Basically, he's the literal embodiment of imposter syndrome in this fable. When our dreams break or just kind of fade, that inner shadow feeds on our disappointment and self-doubt, growing stronger and stronger. So as fear spreads across the Crystal Kingdom, no one dares to stand against him. The lights dim, the fairies hide, and we're left with this terrifying, very real question. How exactly do you stop a creature that feeds on broken dreams? When a paralyzing force like that takes over, how can someone like Luna, who already feels completely inadequate because she can't even control her own abilities, how can she possibly defeat it? Let's look at Section 3, the power of belief. Okay, we've reached the climax of the story. The Shadow King attacks Luna exactly where she is the absolute weakest, sneering, "You can't even control your own magic. How will you stop me?" This line is incredibly striking because it so perfectly echoes that critical inner voice we all possess, doesn't it? The voice that tells us we aren't good enough, that our skills are lacking, and that we're basically frauds who have no business trying to succeed against massive challenges. But here's the thing, Luna doesn't run. Instead, she experiences this massive internal shift that changes absolutely everything. She completely abandons that paralyzing mindset of perfectionism that says, I must perfectly control my magic to be worthy, and instead she embraces a completely new truth. I don't need to be perfect, I just need to believe. She fundamentally realizes that bravery, rather than flawless execution, is the actual answer to overcoming the darkness. It is a total game changer. So right in the face of ultimate fear, she whispers, every dream holds a little bit of light. By simply remembering that there is hope within her dreams, regardless of whether they are perfectly formed or, frankly, a bit messy, she takes action. This pure, unpolished belief generates a massive explosion of glowing dream energy. And guess what? It is enough to dissolve the darkness entirely. Moving on to Section 4, Embrace Your Own Magic. Now, we can apply Luna's victory directly to our own lives using 3 really powerful, actionable steps. Step 1. Stop demanding perfection from yourself. Look, uncontrollable storms happen. That's just a normal part of the creative process. Step 2. Face your Shadow King. Actually acknowledge your imposter syndrome instead of hiding from it in the dark. And Step 3. Find the light in your dreams. Focus entirely on the core reason you started and the hope it brings, rather than stressing out over achieving some flawless, robotic execution. Because ultimately, this right here is Luna's legacy. The kingdom is saved, and the story beautifully notes that from that night on, she embraced her gift, not because she was perfect, but because she was brave enough to simply try. Even today, the fable says she continues to visit dreams and bring hope, all because she chose courage over that paralyzing need for perfection. The story leaves us with this beautiful, succinct message: believe in your dreams. It serves as the ultimate resolution to our analysis today. And yeah, it's a simple phrase, for sure. But as we've just seen, it carries profound weight when you truly understand what it takes to actually practice it in the face of fear. So, as we wrap up this explainer of the Moonlight Kingdom, I want to leave you with one final thought to challenge your own inner Shadow King. Knowing that perfection is a total illusion and that bravery is the true magic, what dream will you bravely pursue tonight? Thanks so much for exploring this with me today, and hey, keep embracing your magic.